Welcome back to another episode of the Harder Soft F1 podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Adrian Huff. I'm Arjun McCullough. Adrian, I know you weren't here last week. You unfortunately weren't able to make it, but
Yes.
I told the tale of the unfortunate delivery that had gone awry, but just as I finished telling it, there was an update. So would you like to provide people with an update?
Yes, you did a great job last week, by the way. Yeah, we've been having some real bad weather down here in the Georgia. Lots of rain, and if you're from the south, you definitely know how shitty Windstream is. So, internet issues. That just comes with. That's like one of the pros to Windstream. That's like one of the things they tell you. They're like, hey, if you upgrade to this service, your service will go out at least 2 times a month. So, but yes, we got the package. They delivered it to a house that's being remodeled right up the road. So that's fun. But let's start with this first item here. You want me to show what you sent me, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay, cool. It's a little green in here, but we've got this beautiful Red Bull Racing cap. I mean, this looks like it was plucked straight off of Max Verstappen's head. We got the nice flat brim. It's gorgeous. Everything you sent me is so nice. This is amazing. I've got a giant head, but it just barely fits, which is nice. Hats usually don't fit me at all, so that's a win. And then I'll save this for last. We got a amazing t-shirt here. Let me pull this up for our boy. Well, my boy. Let's go. 2021 champion, baby. It's amazing. You actually gave me my first Red Bull merch, which is absolutely amazing. And then, of course, to go with the awesome t-shirt, we've got my favorite article of clothing to wear, the hoodie. We've got the Max Verstappen World Championship hoodie from our 2021 season, and then we got it on the back as well. Big number 1. It's gorgeous. Thank you so much, buddy. And this doesn't really pertain to... Oh, I guess I can't show this, but we've got business cards for the podcast. I was about to put it up right. Here's our email and phone numbers for everyone to read.
Yeah.
But yes, thank God it all arrived. It was sitting outside for like 5 days, and with the bad weather, I was just like, there's a strong chance it's just soaked. But no, it was in perfect condition. Thankfully, the driver put it out like underneath the porch. So thank you so much. It's amazing. Glad I get to finally start repping my boy. You've got so much Lewis merch. It's finally, it's about time. It's about time.
I know, we had to level it out, but just hearing you talking about Max, I'm already kind of regretting it.
You're like,
another season of that ahead. Hopefully not.
I knew you were sending me some extra stuff in addition to the business cards. There was a small part of me that thought you were sending me Lewis merch. I'm not gonna lie. Which I would have also proudly worn, but the Max merch is fucking rad, so thank you.
Not a bad idea for next year. So yeah, there was this strike of good luck, I guess, that the clothes and everything were still in good shape. But
yes,
my luck with all my teams, obviously Lewis last year and the year before that couldn't really go down so much as bad luck, but all my teams now, the latest one, the Buffalo Bills, another crash and burn. They lost in the playoffs this past weekend. Second year in a row I was at a bachelor party when the Bills playoff game was on and had to watch them lose all amongst like 10 other guys. So not really the most ideal situation to be in when having to get your heart broken by sports, but that's the life you signed up for. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
you have to take the bad to enjoy the good.
Absolutely. I'm very sorry. Now both of our like personal favorite teams in the NFL are out, but I will say I'm sort of going for. Well, I say going for. That sounds like such a basic bitch term, but I really like the quarterback for the 49ers. We talked about him a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but I mean, it's at this point, as long as it's not the Eagles, I don't care.
Yeah,
just kidding, Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't really have like a still like kind of fresh, so it's hard for me to root for any other teams. But I guess maybe Chiefs or 49ers I'd be okay with. I don't want it to be the Bengals because they beat the Bills, and Eagles fans are, again, sorry Philadelphia, but they are a little bit obnoxious. So
yeah,
I mean, most good fan bases are, but yeah, they're sort of the Max Verstappen of fan bases.
we're just passionate. We're passionate.
They're good, but they're passionate. But yeah, as always, we eventually get to our F1. So
yes,
we have. I guess this is tangentially related to F1. We have this. So this is like right near when we started the podcast last year, and we didn't really spend too much time on it. But I remember thinking, oh, I wish we would have watched that. So this year we can watch. What's it called? The Race of Champions. Yes, the Race of Champions.
Yes,
so it's like, I don't exactly understand the format. Didn't look too much into it, but it's like people from across all avenues of motorsport disciplines can get involved. And since we're the bad boys of motorsports, you and I,
yes sir,
I figured we should talk about it. So, anyways, some good names. They're not, the first two names is just the best team of all time. They were there last year, but the return of Mick Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel.
Oh shit!
Yeah, the Germans are back to race for Team Germany.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's in Sweden. So
yep.
And they've got Valtteri Bottas. He's in it. David Coulthard, Mika Hakkinen, Jamie Chadwick, Felipe Drugovich, Sebastian Loeb, and a ton of other people. But those are the main names that we know. But yeah, really good to see Mick back. Obviously, it's not an F1. He's a reserve driver, but good to see him racing again. And Sebastian Vettel, obviously, anything that he's doing. This is when he debuted his unbelievable hair last year. He went from just kind of looking like a nerd to just like, whoa, look at him now.
I know, so suave.
Yeah.
I'm not very familiar with the Race of Champions, but are the drivers solo, or like are Mick and Seb teammates, or are they just both in it?
I believe, if I remember, what I'm trying to just remember off the top of my head from last year, there's like different like terrains, I guess, and I think they each race, but whether their times are like added together or if it's just like whichever one of them does the best gets the represents Germany, so to speak. I believe it's in like teams of countries, but I'm not sure whether they participate together or as a team. But either way, and again, I'm not even sure if we'll be able to watch it live, but just seeing highlights and seeing Sebastian Vettel back out there, that'll be kind of cool.
Extremely cool, and the fact that him and Mick are getting to do that together is even cooler to me. The other cool thing is that Bottas is going to be competing. I hope he has a lot of success. I was watching his Instagram stories earlier. We didn't get to see him actually racing, but he was posting about like him practicing and getting in some laps. So it's really cool to see these guys doing other sort of motorsports, because I saw a tweet a couple of days ago, something along the lines of it was something along the lines of, it's embarrassing how little other driving F1 drivers do, which was it's not a little, I think it's a ridiculous statement. I almost replied to it on our Hard or Soft account. I might have, but I don't think I did. But my immediate reaction to that statement was, I mean, they are racing, every week or every other weekend for like 9-10 months out of the year. So I think that's just a little bit of a ridiculous statement. I mean, the fact that these guys even, do this championship race or Le Mans or whatever it is, I think that is just a brain dead thought to me.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially because they may not do a lot of other racing, like physical racing, but guys like Max especially, and Charles and Lando, they're all doing like tons of sim racing, and they don't just do like F1 sim racing. They're like, Max does like NASCAR and all this other type of sim racing, so they're obviously extremely passionate about other types. But like you said, they're like doing their calendar is March to basically December, so like how much time do they have? And even still, some of them talk about, like, Alonso's done like the Indy 500, and like you said, the Mons is still there. So yeah, kind of a bit of an ignorant comment. That person, they don't know wheel.
No, definitely not. And it's just one of those typical, like Drive to Survive newbies just making some outrageous Twitter statements for some likes.
Imagine getting into the sport from a Netflix show.
I know. Crazy.
Yes.
Before we transition, since we're talking about the Schumacher family, this doesn't really have anything to do with Formula One. I just thought it was a little bit sad. Michael Schumacher's daughter, I believe her name, Gina Schumacher. She posted on her Instagram that a 19-year-old horse that their family raised, named Gunner, I believe, they had to put him down recently, which is very, very sad. She posted pictures of Michael Schumacher literally riding this horse, and just seemed like he meant a lot to their family, and obviously, he's been around long enough for Michael to literally ride on him multiple times, so just a little sad for their family, but yeah, as always, keep fighting, Michael, and I just thought I wanted to mention that a little bit, because it just made me a little sad.
Yeah, anytime there's like a common connection between like him and another, whether it's an alive thing or anything else, and then that disappears, like just kind of brings back all those feelings. So yeah, of course, that's worth bringing up for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But on to, I don't know, there's no good transition out of that.
Nope,
but
I put you in a corner on that one.
At least he's still alive, he's still fighting.
Yes.
But on to a little, I don't know, I'm just going to move on. Formula E, there's no transition. Formula E is back on this weekend. They have 2 races. But the reason I wanted to bring it up is I'm curious how you would pronounce the name of the race this weekend. If you could pull up the calendar, because DIR, it looks like diarrhea. If I were to say...
We were talking about that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be...
I think...
like diarrhea, whatever it is, they're back-to-back. Going back-to-back. Next week they're Hyperabad. Diarrhea, D-I-R-I-Y-A-A. So.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah. Diarrhea. Yeah, then I looked at more info thinking, maybe it's, I don't know, that's Old Meets New as an all-electric street circuit racing takes the ancient surroundings of Diarrhea. So.
Diarrhea.
Yeah. Obviously not somewhere they race. That? No idea. I guess it's the ancient surroundings of Diarrhea. You've never... You're not familiar? Come on. Get with it. Man. They don't teach you guys much down there in the U.S., do they?
Oh, our public school system is abysmal.
Yeah. So that's where they're racing 2 races back-to-back. I was hoping, because I know last year, I'm sure we talked about this before, but last year they had a Formula E race in New York. I was hoping they had another one this year, but it's in Portland, which is pretty far out of the way, so we won't be going to that.
Extremely. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah, so that's the other outside of Formula One news, but some Formula One news. I don't know if you already saw this story, but I want you to pretend you didn't. They, for whatever reason, have announced like the name of the grandstands this year for all the races, or at least some of the races. Guess how many races have named a grandstand after Max Verstappen?
Oh no.
There's 23 races.
Yeah, 23 races. I surprisingly have not seen this number, so this is a complete shot in the dark.
Okay.
Just to try to boost ticket sales so someone can buy the Max Verstappen grandstand ticket, probably 10?
A little lower, 6.
6.
Now, what do you think is going to happen in these Verstappen grandstands? Because if Zandvoort's been any indication...
Oh, my God.
It's not going to be good.
Some fans are going to probably do some racist shit or something.
Yeah, like, come on. At first, they thought when they read it that it was 6 Verstappen grandstands at Zandvoort, and that would have just been a warning to anyone that's not a Verstappen fan. Do not enter. But a couple of them are obvious, like obviously Zandvoort's one, and then
sure.
Do you want to try and guess them?
Spa?
Yeah. It's 2.
Spa. Probably one of the American tracks.
Yes, but we'll leave that one for last.
Okay.
There's no one this track is named after Red Bull. You can get that one.
Oh yeah, Austria. That one makes sense. The Red Bull Ring. Yeah. Monaco.
No, the other three are a little harder to guess.
Surprising.
So Hungary is the fourth. So we got Zandvoort, Belgium, Austria, Hungary, and then the Spanish Grand Prix for some reason. And then the sixth one is one of the American races. The eye-catching event is the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix, which will serve.
Oh.
Yeah, they are having a Verstappen Grandstand. So they've yet to announce, or at least I've yet to see, if there's also a Lewis Hamilton Grandstand, an Alonso Grandstand, other champions on the grid.
They just need to do like football, have everybody sit in the section for whatever driver they like. Yeah. Meanwhile, Haas has like 4 seats.
Well, it's in the States, so maybe they'll have a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true.
A little cheaper seats to give them away. But how many current guys on the grid are world champions? Like, obviously, we got Max, Lewis, and Alonso. Are there any others? Can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, that's. After Seb retiring, I believe we don't have any more champions on the grid. Just our last 3.
Yeah, because Bottas never won. Yeah.
Nope, poor Bottas.
Poor Bottas. Maybe he'll win this weekend at the Race of Champions.
That would that would make me very happy.
That would. So be racing for Team Finland with Mika Hakkinen. A couple old bucks.
Wait, that is goddamn. That is a pairing right there.
Yeah, man, that would be.
Gonna have to watch some highlights.
Yeah, the onboard radios would be good just to listen to.
They're just gonna be like one-word statements, like, "Okay, go."
I pit now.
I pit. That's pretty accurate.
Like Kimi Räikkönen on the headset.
Oh yeah, just let me do what I do, or whatever the fuck he said.
Speaking of Max Verstappen, he's made a new addition, a new toy.
Mm-hmm.
Max Verstappen is installing a sim racing rig in his private jet. According to Helmut Marko. So maybe that's not what you thought.
No, that's not what I thought at all.
Oh, wow. So, yes, he's an avid sim racer, obviously, but according to Helmut Marko, he even had his private plane converted so that he can fly a simulator in the air in the future.
Wow. Yeah. Private plane.
So, he flies around so much on his private plane that he is a sim racing rig in his private jet. We would kill just to have a sim racing rig. Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, that is insane. I thought you were referring to the clip that did the rounds on the subreddit. Was him shopping for a Ferrari.
Oh, no, I did not see that, actually.
Yeah, he was sitting inside a fucking Ferrari in a showroom. I was like, what?
It's dangerous. Surprised you didn't make everyone, put their phones away.
Yeah, most of the replies were like, I mean, Red Bull makes him drive a Honda, so he can buy a Ferrari.
Yeah, and I think, for example, if Lewis said he had a Ferrari, I wouldn't be like, oh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's even the same with Mercedes. Mercedes makes nicer cars than Honda, but still, they want to drive whatever off the track. Who cares?
Lewis's Mercedes are cold, though. He's got some really nice Mercedes.
He's got the best ones. So I'm sure he has, some Lamborghinis and a bunch of other stuff. Although he said he doesn't really like driving in, that fast when he's not racing because it's just kind of boring and frustrating. Sure. But yeah, and also we have, if we're going to talk about cars, fast cars, we've got all the launch dates, officially all 10 launch dates for the cars. Put them down there. You want to go through them?
Sure. Yeah. So the first one, the soonest one. From the day that we're recording. It's actually in 5 days from the day we're recording this. Haas is revealing their livery, their new car, on January 31st. The only reveal in January. The rest are going to be in a 2-week period in February. We've got Red Bull following them on the February 3rd, then Williams on the 6th, Alfa Romeo on the 7th, Alpha Tauri on the 11th, Aston Martin on the 13th, McLaren same day?
Yeah, weird.
Holy shit. Okay, weird, yes. McLaren, February 13th. Ferrari, the 14th. Mercedes, the 15th. And Alpine, the 16th. McLaren really couldn't have got the 12th in there. They're same day.
Yeah. That's weird. I wouldn't be surprised if they happen to let that one leak a little early.
McLaren?
Yeah, because I think they released their IndyCar maybe today or yesterday or something. So, and I could be wrong on that. I just saw something across my timeline. I didn't want to look at it because I assume their IndyCar is going to look very similar to their F1 car. So, I tried not to look at it. I don't want to spoil it. But if that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised if Lando happened to maybe let something slide again. Who knows?
A la Tom Holland. I will say the only, as far as, I mean, I've seen some rumors, some whispers about actual car development, but when it comes to the livery, the only actual speculation or like conversation I've seen has been about McLaren, because they've released merchandise with like color schemes for the 2023 season, and people think that that's sort of going to be the color scheme of the car. And I will say, if that merch is like an indicator of their like livery, I don't know if it's going to be the nicest looking livery, but that's just complete prejudgment. Like, could be completely wrong on that, but it's like a lot of like light blue, dark brown with a little orange mixed in. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but we'll see.
That doesn't sound good. They just have the perfect recipe for what they just ran back what they did in Monaco a few years ago and just did that. What was it called? Like the Gulf livery or whatever?
Yeah,
just do that Gulf. Every race. Like, oh, that would be unbelievable. But we are both supporters of McLaren, so whatever they do, we will have their back, because one day we both may end up on the same, rooting for the same side, and it might be McLaren. But I don't know. Max has a long time left. Well, then again, he talks about retiring early, but who knows? Who knows? I'm the only one really that's gonna have to start looking elsewhere potentially, but maybe I'll just stay loyal. I don't know if I'm more loyal. I'm more loyal to Lewis than Mercedes, but I don't know. I'll probably stick with Mercedes, but we'll see.
Well, have you heard the rumors of Lewis contract extension inbound potentially?
Yeah. I've seen a few little things come across on Reddit and whatever, but it's always hard to trust. But
sure,
that would be I mean, if Alonso's still going, and
he just Lewis in general, definitely, yeah.
It seems like in general athletes can go longer now. So yeah, fingers crossed. As long as he's competing and performing at a high level, then hopefully he stays out there. I don't think he's going to leave if he still has a chance to win a championship. But if he's in Alonso territory, because even though Alonso is still racing really well, he's not really in having any chance to win a title. Then I don't know if Lewis would stick around, but yeah.
God, there's so much speculation for this upcoming season. I'm gonna like hold my tongue, because there's just in that sentence you just said, I'm like, oh, let's talk about Alonso, let's talk about Aston Martin, let's talk about Lewis, but like, there's just so much that we just have no clue about. I'm very hyped.
Our guy Mike Crack today, I saw a quote from him that Aston Martin is the most likely midfield team to move up this year. But like, of course, he's going to say that.
I mean, they are replacing like 90, like complete 100% changing 90% of the parts in their car from last year, which is the most from any other team. So we're either going to see a big change for the better or worse. For Alonso's sake, I hope it's for the better. But for like entertainment, I mean, it would be Alonso's luck to switch teams and for Aston Martin to just completely fumble the bag. But I would like to see Aston Martin up at the front more with like McLaren and stuff, because this past season they felt like they were slipping more back towards Alfa Romeo, Williams, Haas, those type of teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think having them push, like you said, up with McLaren right near the top of the midfield would be good. Anytime, I think regardless of where they are in the midfield or near the back of the field, I think seeing Alonso and Lance Stroll having a few battles this year will make for very good entertainment, one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have some good back and forth quotes. I can do my Lance, you can do your Alonso. It'll be great.
Yeah, dude, this is gonna be a little bit of a hot take, but I want Lance to improve drastically. I started a little bit there. My father's name is Lance, so it still is a little weird for me just to refer as the name Lance. But I think Lance needs to have some improvement. I mean, he hit his peak with his pole almost 3 years ago, so it's about time. And I mean, people, us included, tend to give him a lot of shit, but he definitely has the capabilities to not necessarily be like a great driver, but to improve nonetheless. So Aston Martin as a whole, I'm really rooting for some reason.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them right now, but I could easily see it turning into one of those things where I dislike them. Just there's a lot of personalities there that I don't know. I could see them rubbing me the wrong way, but
sure.
I mean, I can also see them having like a beautiful car and saying all the right things and coming out with a hot start to start the season. But I don't know. Anytime the Strolls are bouncing around, plus Alonso, I don't know what's going to happen.
Ooh.
But we're going to find out. It is 38 days. The countdown continues. Today's January 26th, 38 days till lights out.
Let's go.
So that's 28 till testing. So yeah, less than a month. We're gonna starting next week. As you said, we've got Haas. We got a couple of liveries. We got it's crazy. It seems like the off season's so long, and then once it starts coming up, it's like it's just around the corner.
Yeah, when last season ended, it literally felt like it was going to be so long till we had some content for next year. But now it's like coming at us so quickly. I'm like, I don't know how to process it. I'm like, wait, it's already happening, but yeah. I'm ready for it.
Yes. Okay, just looking up here. We have a couple more reserve drivers that were named. So we got. It's weird. Some teams have like a reserve driver. Some teams have a test driver. Some teams have both. So I guess as we said, they've still got a month to iron that out. But
that's weird.
Yeah. So Red Bull, they're obviously here's another weird one. Red Bull, for example, they have Daniel Ricciardo listed as third driver, but they have Liam Lawson, Dennis Hauger, and Zane Maloney listed as reserve drivers, and then they have Rudy Van Buren as simulator test and development driver. So they have just 5 guys. There's some teams don't even have, like most teams have 1 or 2. So Ferrari, reserve driver Giovinazzi, test driver Robert Schwartzman.
Yep.
Mercedes, just reserve driver Mick Schumacher. Alpine have yet to name their reserve driver.
Sure, it'll be Jack Doohan.
Yeah, that's what it says is the leading candidate. McLaren, Alex Palou, reserve driver. And then they have a couple of test drivers. Alfa Romeo, reserve drivers Theo Porter. Aston Martin, reserve driver Stoffel Van Dorn. Test and reserve driver Stoffel Van Dorn. Reserve driver Felipe Drogovic. Haas, reserve driver Pietro Fittipaldi. And Alpha Tauri, reserve drivers Liam Lawson, Dennis Hauger, Zane Maloney. Williams, I guess they're still deciding because they just changed team principals. So a lot of names on there. I don't know who like the leading candidate would be to be this year's Nick DeVries, but yeah, it's interesting that Red Bull has so many guys on there, and then they also have Alpha Tauri to like shuffle them in too. So yeah, but I guess they did say that Daniel Ricciardo is only going to be at like a certain amount of races, not necessarily every single race. So I don't know what their plan is.
It's interesting. I did not know that. Excuse me, Stoffel Van Dorn was their test and reserve driver at Aston Martin. I think it would be kind of hilarious to see him potentially next to Alonso. But it does look like he was sort of named to be replaced by Felipe Drogovic as their reserve driver. So probably is not going to happen. There's a couple of names on this list, though, that are sort of fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Red Bull's layout is by far the most confusing. I mean, you've got 3 reserve drivers and then a third driver. So wait, if Sergio gets sick, do you put in a reserve driver or do you put in your third driver? What the fuck?
That's better hope Daniel's there that weekend for his sake, I guess.
Yeah, right? What? I mean, that makes no sense. It's so confusing.
I know. And another confusing term that Alfa Romeo has introduced to the world. They've decided they're not going with a team principal. They are instead naming Alessandro Aluni Bravi taking over the role as team representative. So instead of TP, he will be TR. The Sauber group will now also be, quote, representing the team in all official functions at race weekends and away from the track. So I don't know why they're not naming a team principal, but they're naming this guy team representative. But I have no idea why they would do that, like what the difference is, or why they're just choosing to go a different path. But all the power to them, I guess.
I mean, to me, it seems like they probably really, really wanted Binotto, and then that didn't happen. So they were sort of scrambling, and they're like, "You're gonna do both jobs, okay?"
Yeah, wait till Binotto's done gardening, and then when he comes back, you can bump down. I actually saw Binotto quote when I was looking for stuff before, kind of whether it's true or whether he's just kind of finding more excuses for how the year went. He said that they stopped developing last year's car after France, and that's why they had a drop off in the second half of the season. I think that would be a little early, but who knows?
It's very early.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel bad for Bottas moving from Mercedes to Alfa Romeo. Even though he did have a good bit of success last season, it's just a little bit of a bummer because ideally I would have liked him to go to a, more of a solid team. And from what he said, Alfa Romeo seemed to be in a better spot than Williams. But I'm sure he's just counting down the days until Audi takes over.
Yeah, the 2026 seems like it's going to be a pretty big changeover. If there's any indication, if it's all true based on what they're saying, but I don't know. Seems if there's going to be more teams added, or if there's going to just be different manufacturers, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think if there's going to be like a big shakeup on the grid in terms of like the top heavy teams, it'd probably have to wait till then.
Sure.
But just seems like guys just kind of get screwed left and right in F1, whether it's team principals or drivers. And I don't really know if this would be considered getting screwed, but it seems like Mick Schumacher kind of got blocked to go to Alpha Tauri because what's the guy's name? Alpha Tauri team boss Franz Tost wanted to sign Mick Schumacher to the seat, but Helmut Marko stepped in and said no because he's not a Red Bull driver. He was in the Ferrari team. Mm-hmm. Now he's obviously with Mercedes team. So kind of sucks for him that he didn't get to like continue driving in F1 because of Helmut Marko. I mean, we've made our case of what we think of Helmut Marko. I mean, in this, like, I guess I can like kind of see his point. But I don't know, like, is who they have right now that much better?
I know.
Needs to be seen.
Didn't they take a fucking reserve driver from a totally other team?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So
like what?
And like, how many times? Yeah, he doesn't have more experience. And I guess he did well in the one race he did, but yeah, sort of. I guess if he's just looking for prospects, I don't know. Maybe there's an old beef he had with Michael Schumacher, or who knows with Helmut Marko. He kind of does what he wants and can't really question it because you can't understand stupid or crazy.
Crazy, stupid, whatever. Helmut Marko.
Yeah. So that's the latest on Mick Schumacher. There's always something, but he's.
That's really crazy to me, just because. I mean, yeah, it does seem like there's just more to it because, I mean, they didn't appoint a Red Bull driver to begin with, regardless. So, to me, either Helmut just didn't really want a Schumacher with Red Bull for some reason. I guess because Schumacher, when you think Schumacher, probably the last thing you think of is Red Bull. But, I mean, you did take, a Mercedes driver, so. Just a little bit strange to me. You'd go Mercedes over Ferrari. I mean, it just seems picky. I guess he just wanted De Vries.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I guess I was thinking maybe he just wanted like a younger guy that's a prospect, but like De Vries might even be older than Mick Schumacher.
He is
like 27, so
I think he's older than that if I'm not mistaken.
It's sort of. It's definitely not like it's not like there's a huge gap in.
Oh, you're right. He is 27.
Talent. And then how old's Mick? Like 25?
I think he was born the same year as me, so most likely... No, he was born in 1999. He's 2 years younger than me. Wow, did not know that. He's only 23, so yeah, very young.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's got some kind of grudge. Who knows with that guy. Another situation that could be due to grudges, but I don't think it is. You told me about this one. It's the changes to the Sky F1 broadcast. You want to break that news?
Yes. So, you know how everyone loves Sky F1 coverage. Everybody absolutely loves all British media. You've got, amazing commentators like Crofty and Brundle, who I do genuinely like, but I apologize if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, but Johnny Herbert, Herbert, yeah, sorry, Herbert. And Paul de Resta, they're not returning to Sky for the 2023 F1 coverage, which is a little bit of a bummer if you're just more of like a classic F1 fan, because I mean, obviously these guys are both former drivers. They've been in the motorsport scene, F1 scene for a very long time, especially Johnny. So, yeah, it's just seems that the theme for F1 media, at least, is to bring in some fresh, new, young voices, which could be viewed as a good thing, but to me it just kind of seems like cashing in on like the TikTok bullshit.
Since you're still upset about the WTF1 situation.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess like it remains to be seen who they put in. If they put in some unknown guys, I mean, who knows? Maybe Sebastian Vettel will go in. I don't see that happening, but or maybe they just want to get more of like, I don't know, who are the relatively new people like Danica Patrick,
Ricardo.
Yeah, they could throw Danny Rick in there a few times. But Jenson Button was really good, so maybe they'll just put him in more.
Yes, I fucking love Jenson Button.
Yeah, so I guess it remains to be seen like how they fill those slots. But yeah, if they just hire some, unless they want to hire like a duo that's one based in Toronto and one based in Georgia and put them on the broadcast, I think they should steer away from like the WTF model and yes, at least get some people that were in F1 or something, or the people they have are good. Just yes, give Jenson Button and Crofty and Brundle more time. So we'll see if that's what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, whoever they go with, whatever they do, they don't need to go sort of middle of the road. They need to go one way or another. They need to go hard or soft. They need to bring the hard or soft podcast to Sky.
Yeah, look at that. That's just perfect. There's another, I guess, like a swirling or brewing controversy. It's kind of been, seems like every week it just kind of gets another layer to it between FIA and F1. I'm going to try to do it without looking at the article because it's better to just explain it, but if I get kind of caught up, I'll go to the article. But basically from what I can gather is the Saudi Investment League, whatever they call it, the Saudi Investment Fund, the same group that bought like that golf league and was rumored to be buying wrestling, apparently put an offer of $20 billion to F1 and the FIA to buy, I don't know, the rights or just to buy the sport of F1. I'm not exactly sure how that would work. So the president of FIA obviously said no, and that was like I think his reasoning was that that's just not the representation that F1 wants. But he said that the valuation, that it was like an overinflated valuation, basically. So I just want to get the wording right on just that. Alleged inflated price tag is what he said the investment was, or the investment fund was putting on them. So F1 had a big issue with this, and then all the teams sent a letter to FIA saying like it's not really their responsibility to like decide who buys the sport, and that like saying that it's overinflating the value of it just is this a bad business move, basically, because someone's willing to pay $20 billion and you say, well, it's not worth $20 billion. Well, that just like deflates the value of it. So I don't know. It seems like it's kind of just a pissing contest every week, back and forth. And then obviously Andretti got involved and is making comments. So it's just, yeah, it's just becoming a big pissing contest about who gets the money and who decides who gets in the sport, all that stuff. So yeah, there remains to be seen where that ends. But it doesn't seem like the FIA and F1 are going towards some sort of good ending. It seems like F1 might split off from the FIA and become their own governing body or something. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, I hate on the FIA quite a bit, but I don't know if a full separation would be like the best move, personally. It could be a good thing in the long run, but this whole situation has just been extremely confusing to me. Like, I don't fully grasp the full context of the situation, but it definitely seems clear that these two, I guess, very powerful beings are not gonna get closer. They're just, the tensions are rising. So it'll be interesting to see if more conflicts develop because of this.
Yeah, I think it's kind of unavoidable as more teams trying to get in for 2026, and also like as teams start rolling out for practices and the Grand Prix and stuff like that. So yeah, it's only going to get worse. I can only imagine what Christian Horner and Toto Wolff, for that matter, are going to have to say about this. It's not really what we want to be talking about or want to have to listen to, but probably going to have no choice. We'd rather like be slightly educated on it before it happens. There was one more story I wanted to bring up. It was a more fun story. I don't know if you've heard about this story, but I just watched a quick video on it and I found it pretty interesting. It's about the Monaco Grand Prix Diamond Mystery.
Ooh, scary.
So, yeah. So as the story goes, well, it's a true story. In the 2004 Monaco Grand Prix, Team Jaguar, it was I think it ended up being their second last year in F1. They were doing a PR thing for Ocean's 12, I think was the movie that was coming out at the time. So they did like a big livery for Ocean's 12 and everything, and they put on the front of each of the cars like a big $300,000 diamond right on the nose of the car. And yeah, it was like this big PR stunt and everything. But then when the race started, I'm just trying to find the names of the driver. It was Mark Webber and Christian Klein were the drivers, and on the very start of the race, lap 1, there was a big pile up in the cars. Mark Webber just managed to squeak through, so his car was unaffected, the diamond was fine, but the other guy, he crashed into the back of the pile, and everyone was looking for the diamond, and nobody could find the diamond. So when they looked back at the footage, they saw that actually a couple turns back it briefly hit a barrier, and the nose of the car kind of got hit then, so it probably came off then, but still nobody was able to find it. So there was like obviously stewards and people looking for it, and yeah, 17 years later, or whenever this was written, so whenever that was, 2004, so 19 years later, still never found.
Wow.
Yeah, quite the tale.
Someone for sure grabbed that shit and pocketed it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because that's what I would have done.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'd be nice. Just stand there watching, and then you just, oh, yeah, I'll take that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that's the dream.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense, though. I mean, why would you put a fucking diamond on a race car?
Yeah, like it looks cool and all, but like, why would you keep it on for even the practice sessions? I wouldn't keep it on, but why would you keep it on for the actual race? Like, especially at Monaco.
Oh my
Something's
God.
bound to happen. So stupid.
Monaco. Yeah, that's a good track. Yeah, the car will for sure get through unscathed at Monaco.
Yeah, no chance. Just
oh my God.
But that's maybe one of the reasons why Jaguar didn't last. I think actually it got such, in the video that I was watching, it was actually the guy that we had on the podcast, Josh Revel. He did a video on it, and I think he was saying in the video that it got such big PR because the story about the missing diamond became like bigger than, like it grew outside of F1. And I think the Jaguar, because they were associated with it actually worked as a PR stunt because they got so much name recognition from it that they sold the team. And I think that's what ended up becoming Red Bull. Not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty interesting story.
Fucking
Yeah.
wild. Someone stealing a diamond created Max Verstappen championship.
I know. Jeez, if only Mark Webber had just taken that for himself. Who knows?
Oh, he could have.
I don't know. Maybe things would have worked out differently for him, or maybe he did, and that's why they let him stay at Red Bull.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's pretty He's pretty funny. I enjoy his commentary as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him on there more too. So yeah, I think we got time to do one last thing. We do there. I did my my little test last week. What do they call it? The F1 personality test. I hate the phrase personality test. It just makes me think of like BuzzFeed, but I think it's which F1 driver should you support in 2023?
Which Pixar character are you?
Oh God, yeah. So yeah,
I've got it pulled
if you
up.
want to pull it up, all right, we can go through it. So just answer truthfully, not based on trying to get Max Verstappen.
Yep.
And
Nope.
I'll tell you at the end who I got. Which driver should you support in 2023? So if you want to just read your way through here,
sure.
take us away.
So out of these personalities, which one would I like to support in F1? A proven winner, the young hotshot, the veteran racer, or talent waiting to be unleashed? Always talent waiting to be unleashed, personally.
All right.
Proven winner, it's a little boring. Veteran, you got somebody like Nico Hulkenberg, who I consider a veteran but not a winner. So yeah, always gonna go with the talent.
All right. Number 2.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. What kind of helmet design would you prefer wearing? Gold, I'm the best. Fluorescent colors, I want to be seen. Team colors, representing the squad. Flag colors, representing my country. Wow. God, not gold. It's a little overinflated. Sorry, Max. I do love the gold accent on the hoodie and the shirt, so I'm not gonna lie. But not for my helmet. This is gonna be probably a little bit of a hot take, but I'm going with fluorescent colors. I like the cool helmet designs, because you're not gonna. I mean, if you're on McLaren, you're not gonna have a McLaren themed helmet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to go through these a little bit faster. What's your ideal meal? Nothing beats my parents' cooking, the vegan or vegetarian option. I'll eat anything and everything, not picky, make it spicy. I'll say I'll eat anything and everything, not picky, even though my mom does make some amazing food. Which of these best describes you? The underdog, win at all costs, plucky and bold, wise and patient. I would like to think I'm a bit of an underdog, but I'm going to go with plucky and bold. What's your ideal... Oh, that's what you do too?
Yeah.
Oh, if we get the same person, I'm going to fucking die. What is your ideal Friday night? Pump some iron, hit the town, play some video games, stay in and do something creative. Always stay in and do something creative. You will... If you're like, hey, let's chill, let's just have a drink, let's write something, let's create something, I will always be down for that.
All right.
Next. What's your favorite type of circuit? Street tracks, old school circuits, brand new circuits, wherever my home circuit is. Always old school circuits. Always. Yeah. What is your music taste? Radio silence, please, classic rock, hip-hop, or pop? I do love some classic rock, but I'm going to go hip-hop, because I do love some hip-hop. What would I wear to a Grand Prix? Team gear, designer threads, smart casual, or whatever's comfiest? I think I see the Lewis answer. Although I typically do, I always go, I mean, you probably can tell by this podcast, I'm always in a hoodie, and I mean, you don't see my bottom half, but I'm usually always in shorts, so I'm always in whatever's comfiest. But if I went to a Grand Prix, for sure, I'm wearing the team gear. I gotta rep my team.
Yeah. Although I would pay to see you in designer threads.
Hey, if it was a hoodie, I would take it.
Like a Lewis Hamilton outfit on Adrian.
Lewis Hamilton. Hey, listen, that'd be a good off-season thing to do. We each pick our top 3 Lewis Hamilton outfits, like that we would actually wear. I'll absolutely do that. He's got some good fits.
Yeah, let's show up to Coda. All right, go ahead.
Oh my god! If I showed up in that like pink jumpsuit,
You'd have to do it to Vegas or Miami. That'd be the only
That's actually not a
acceptable
bad
races
idea.
to wear it to.
God damn it,
Do
I'm
some-
going to wear something crazy if we go to one of these races.
Yeah, if we're going to Miami, we have to wear some crazy outfits to do man on the street interviews in. That'll be...
I could
All right.
pretend. I was going to say I could pretend to be Lewis Hamilton, but I'm not going to do that.
Let's not get canceled.
Yeah, no. Okay. Which of these F1 cars would you take out on track? We've got the McLaren MP4, the Ferrari 312T, the Lotus 25, or the Williams FW19. I think the Williams is a very, very close second, but like the McLaren MP4, I mean, like when I think of Formula One, that's one of the first cars I think of. It is just mwah. Where would you like to live? A Swiss Monaco apartment, a massive countryside mansion, Christian Horner, or a beachside villa, or surrounded by nature? Oh man, if I was an F1 driver, wanted to my paradise, I'm definitely not going with Monaco. A countryside mansion that's what I'm going to go with. I do love the beach, but how can you not pick a mansion? What? I would not have predicted that. Do you know who I got?
Yeah.
I don't know how you would.
I put
You
it
do?
Yeah, I was following along.
Oh, you did?
I want to read what it... Go ahead. I'm just reading to myself.
Oh my god. I'm only
the last
laughing.
line is just a bit of a shot right to the bow.
Oh yeah.
Yuki Tsunoda,
Yuki Tsunoda.
Japan's latest hotshot. This Alpha Tauri racer is known for his aggressive approach and hilarious, often outspoken nature. Loves his food too.
I do love my food.
Oh,
Look.
they just get a little shot in there at the end.
I laugh only because it just caught me so off guard.
Yeah.
But I am not gonna disagree with anything they said. Like the few times I've gone go-karting, I tend to be a little bit of a hot shot. I will pull off some little risky moves, but I also have a little trouble, keeping my filter when I do get outspoken. But I also am a little bit shy, just in general. So, and I mean, look at me. Of course, I love food. Come on.
Yeah, you and Yuki look just alike.
Yeah, I'm 6'3".
body.
He's close to that almost.
Yeah, he's right up there. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Not who I was expecting you to get. I got
who did
Charles
you get?
Leclerc. I got
No,
Charles. So not bad. Yeah,
Of course, it's not bad. You got Leclerc.
I know. But it's
Your
probably
personality is
because
the hottest guy on the grid.
probably because I picked the Monaco house and the Ferrari car, so those two kind of line up with him. But yeah, no, that was fun. It was worth it
That's
just for the moment I clicked at the end and I just saw Yuki Tsunoda's face come up.
I was
that's
thinking
great.
Bottas. I was thinking maybe Albon.
Yeah. That's great.
I do like Yuki a lot though, so I will happily take that, especially for a personality test. Absolutely.
Yeah, you might have to get him. We have to go a few spots up and snag him in the draft this year, just because now he might have to be one of your guys.
Yeah, man. Maybe I can get him and De Vries. I can have all 4 Red Bulls on my team.
Oh man.
Or maybe I won't even come out of the gate with the Red Bull. You don't know. On this whiteboard right here, I'm gonna try not to show it. I've got a whole. I'm gonna show just a flash of it. What? A whole I was gonna say page. It's not a page. A whole layout of potential draft picks, potential orders, your potential first couple picks. I am thinking about this so hard. I'm so ready. I think I'm more excited for our draft than for the actual start of the season, which is a little bit crazy, but I am so hyped.
Yeah, we're about 3 weeks or so from doing the draft. We're going to do it around February 14th or so.
Yep.
So yeah, we're coming right up on that. Yeah, I think that's about it. We had a pretty good long episode this week. We're just around the corner. We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We got Drive to Survive coming in a couple of weeks as well.
Yes.
So I wish Drive to Survive came out a little before this, more before the seasons, because by the time it comes out, it's like, well, by then I'm just ready for the season. But that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah,
We'll still watch it.
It is nice to like jump you right into the season. I guess that's their intention. They want people to be like, "Yo, this is awesome," and they're like, "Hey, the season's literally starting now." But
True.
I do wish I could just watch it now.
Yeah,
Get
if
me,
it came
'cause-
out like right now, it'd
yeah.
be perfect. Just could watch it like 3 times over by February 23rd or March 5th, whatever
Right.
you want to go by. But yeah,
It's just crazy, just because I remember watching season 1 of that show and just, I mean, people do make jokes, and I'm not gonna say I didn't discover my love of the sport from season 1 of that show, but I don't think we should hate on people for being Drive to Survive fans. I think if someone discovers, a mutual love of yours, and they have like a hobby, I guess you could call it, it should be something that you guys, celebrate. It shouldn't be something that you gatekeep. So
yeah.
I am the same, or at the same time, I'm also trying to be respectful of this very long running sport by learning the history, learning just literally everything. I don't want to go into everything about F1, but I don't know. I feel like that show gets a little bit of a bad rep, but some of the stuff it does deserve, I will say. But I'm very, very hyped for season 5. That is fucking crazy. That is unbelievable.
It is
With
crazy, but
the return of Max himself.
oh, that is true. Yeah, Big Max said last year. But yeah, I think as long as people come in on the newer side, like us, as long as they're respectful to people that have been fans for longer, and don't try and come in and act like they do know everything, or that F1 should be like this or should be like that when
Exactly.
they've been watching. But I think we try and do that. And we try and find the line between people that have been fans for a long time, but also the people that have been fans for a shorter time. So hopefully we're able to do that. But if not, you can go listen to someone else.
Yes, sir. Exactly. You can go buy a Max Verstappen Grandstand ticket.
Yeah, you got lots of options.
Jesus Christ, you do. All right.
We won't
is
be
there
going
anything...
there. I'll just say if we do go to Vegas, that's not where we're sitting.
Oh, I was going to say, is there anything that you're looking forward to most for what we're going to do in the 2023 season?
Well, I think hopefully, Miami's the first one up within our range, so I think I'm going to put that at the top of the list and hope that even if we can't get in to the race, we'll be able to kind of be around and do something, at least get into one of the sessions or something. So that's going to put that at the start, and then Montreal and the Toronto Indy, that I always love that. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what it is for me. And also, I just need a win. I really need a win. My Bills, my Leafs, my Jays, Raptors, they all lose. Lewis, Mercedes last year, so I really need Lewis to just get back in the winner's circle. That's what I need. How about you?
The way you said that was so fucking defeated. I'm sorry. It just made me laugh. You're like, they all lose. You do need a fucking win. You've been beaten down unfairly. I'm looking forward to all the in-person live action content we're gonna be able to do. Yeah, I'm really hoping we get to make it to one of the US GPs this season. I'm really, really hoping that we're able to pull that off. I think that this is going to be a big year for us, so I'm just excited for everything.
Yeah, no, me too. It's gonna be a great year. I'm just about to get it kicked off, so I
Yes,
think
sir.
that was a good episode. Yeah, you want to send us off?
Yes, sir. Anything else you want to tack on before we finish her off?
No, sir.
All right. Well, that was another episode of the Harder Soft F1 podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. If you have any comments or replies to anything we said, tweet at us at HarderSoftF1 on Twitter. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at that same @ and you can listen or watch on YouTube or like I said, listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Harder Soft F1 podcast. I'm going to keep saying it. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars, share, do whatever you can do. Help some small creators grow their little project. But yeah, thank you all so much. We'll see you next week.